Let's start with a simple yet profound question. How often do you wonder if the events in your life are just coincidences, or if they're orchestrated by something greater? If you're watching this video, it's possible that deep down, you felt a calling, something that can't be explained by logic or mere chance. You might have experienced moments of clarity, where the world around you seemed to align in ways that are too perfect, too intentional to be random. And what if I told you that these experiences could be signs that you're chosen by God? The first sign, the one that often goes unnoticed, is the subtle but undeniable feeling of being guided, like an unseen hand is gently pushing you in a direction. It might appear in small ways at first, like a series of coincidences that lead you to a certain book, a person, or a place. You may not even realize it's happening until you look back and see how perfectly certain moments fell into place. It's easy to dismiss these occurrences as luck or chance, but what if they were more than that? What if they were divine nudges, setting you on a path you were always meant to walk?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
Think about it. Have you ever had a moment where you were about to make a decision and something inside you, an inner voice, a gut feeling, told you to go a different way? Maybe you didn't know why at the time, but later you realized that following that intuition saved you from harm or led you to something better. That's the first sign. It's subtle, but it's powerful. It's as if God is speaking to you through the language of your own instincts, guiding you toward your destiny. But this isn't just about hearing whispers in your heart or following your gut. The second sign is more profound. It's the feeling of being set apart. You might notice that for some reason you don't quite fit in with the people around you. Even when you're in a crowd, you feel different, like you're standing on the outside observing. It's not that you're lonely or disconnected, but there's an awareness within you that you're meant for something more. You feel a sense of purpose, even if you can't quite put your finger on what that purpose is yet. Maybe you've tried to ignore it, to blend in with everyone else, but it never works. You always come back to that feeling, that deep knowing that you're here for something greater, something that the world hasn't yet revealed to you. Now, I want to ask you something. Have you ever felt this way? Like you're part of the world, but not fully of it? Like you're walking a path that others can't see? If you have, it's not a coincidence. It could be your soul recognizing the divine calling that's been placed on your life. The third sign is one that can be both a blessing and a challenge. It's the experience of hardships that seem unfair or overwhelming. You might wonder why you, out of all people, are going through such difficulties. But here's the truth: God often chooses those who can bear the weight of the world to fulfill His greatest purposes. Think about it. Many of the figures we admire in spiritual history, from prophets to saints, endured tremendous suffering before they achieved their destiny. It's as if the trials themselves are part of the preparation, the refining process that shapes you into someone capable of carrying out a divine mission. But I want to be clear, these hardships aren't punishments. They're not signs that you're unworthy or that you've done something wrong. In fact, they're the opposite. They're indications that you're being prepared for something greater, something that requires strength, resilience, and faith. And if you've gone through periods of darkness, of feeling lost or abandoned, know this: you're not alone. This is part of the journey, and it's a journey that only the chosen can walk. So, let me ask you, have you faced challenges that seemed insurmountable? Have you ever felt like giving up, only to find that something inside you refuses to let go? That's not just your willpower. It's something deeper. It's the divine spark within you, the part of you that knows you're destined for more, even when the world around you seems to be falling apart. Now that we've explored the signs that can feel subtle or confusing at first, let's dive deeper into the fourth sign, a sign that's impossible to ignore once it appears, a burning desire to seek deeper meaning in life. Have you ever found yourself dissatisfied with the superficial aspects of life, the material possessions, the fleeting pleasures, the temporary successes? It's not that these things are bad, but for you, something about them feels incomplete. You crave more than what the world offers. You want to understand the mysteries of existence, to connect with something eternal, something divine. This longing is no accident. It's a sign that you're being called to a higher purpose. When God chooses someone, He plants within them a hunger that can't be satisfied by the things of this world. You might find yourself drawn to ancient wisdom, to spiritual teachings, to meditation or prayer. You might start asking questions that others don't even think to ask. Why are we here? What is the meaning of life? What happens after we die? These aren't just idle musings. They are the stirrings of your soul, awakening to its true purpose. I want you to think about this. When was the last time you felt truly fulfilled by something worldly? I'm not talking about fleeting happiness, but real, deep fulfillment. If you're chosen, this feeling is rare because your soul knows that its true fulfillment lies in something much greater. It's as if you're searching for a treasure, but the map you've been given is incomplete. You can see glimpses of where you need to go, but the path isn't always clear, and that's part of the process. It's like God is leading you, step by step, toward a deeper understanding of who you are and why you're here. This search for meaning often comes with a sense of responsibility. That's the fifth sign. When you're chosen by God, you start to feel an overwhelming sense of purpose, a feeling that you're here to make a difference in the world. It's not about fame or recognition. It's about contributing something meaningful, something that will outlast you. You might feel a pull to help others, to heal, to teach, to create. And this pull isn't something you can ignore. It's persistent. It's as if there's a fire inside you that keeps growing, no matter how much you try to quiet it. And let me tell you, this is both a blessing and a challenge. Because once you recognize that you're chosen, there's no going back to the way things were. You can't unsee the path that's been laid out for you. You can't ignore the call. And that can be frightening. It can feel overwhelming to think that you're meant for something so big, so important. But here's the truth: you wouldn't have been chosen if you weren't capable. God doesn't make mistakes. He knows exactly who you are, and He knows what you're capable of, even when you don't. So let me ask you, have you felt this fire, this pull towards something greater? Have you ever felt like there's a mission inside you waiting to be fulfilled? It's a feeling that won't go away, no matter how much you try to suppress it. And that's because it's not just a feeling, it's your destiny calling you. As we continue, there's something we need to address: doubt. Even when you've experienced these signs, even when you feel that fire inside you, doubt has a way of sneaking in. You might start questioning everything. Am I really chosen? Why would God choose me, of all people? What if I'm wrong? What if this is all in my head? These thoughts are normal. In fact, they're part of the journey. Every person who has ever been chosen by God has faced doubt at some point. Think about the great spiritual leaders throughout history. Many of them went through periods of intense doubt, times when they questioned their path, their worthiness, and even God Himself. But here's the thing: doubt doesn't disqualify you from being chosen. In fact, it's often a sign that you're on the right path, because doubt forces you to go deeper, to seek answers, to strengthen your faith. I want to ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're not enough? Like you're too flawed, too imperfect to be chosen by God? If you have, you're not alone. But here's the truth: God doesn't choose the perfect. He chooses the willing. He chooses those who are humble enough to acknowledge their weaknesses and brave enough to keep going anyway. It's not about being perfect. It's about being willing to let God work through your imperfections. There's a beautiful paradox in being chosen. On one hand, you feel unworthy. On the other hand, you feel a deep sense of responsibility. It's as if you're standing between two worlds, the world of doubt and the world of faith. And every day you have to choose which one you're going to live in. Are you going to let doubt control you, or are you going to trust that you've been chosen for a reason, even if you can't see the full picture yet? This is where faith comes in. And I'm not talking about blind faith. I'm talking about the kind of faith that comes from experience, from seeing the signs, from feeling that inner knowing. It's the faith that says, I don't understand everything right now, but I'm going to keep moving forward anyway, because here's the thing: the path of the chosen is never easy. If it were, everyone would walk it. But you're not everyone. You've been called to something greater. And that means you're going to face challenges that others won't understand. You're going to walk a path that others can't see. So, let me ask you again, are you willing to keep going, even when doubt creeps in? Are you willing to trust that you've been chosen, even when the path seems unclear? At this point, you might be feeling a mix of emotions. Maybe you're excited, maybe you're scared, maybe you're confused, and that's okay. Being chosen isn't about having all the answers. It's about being open to the journey, to the unfolding of your purpose over time. You won't always know where the path is leading, but that's part of the mystery, part of the beauty. The final sign that you're chosen by God is the sense of peace that comes when you finally surrender to the journey. This peace doesn't mean that everything in your life will suddenly be easy or that you'll never face challenges again. But it does mean that, deep down, you'll know that you're exactly where you're meant to be. You'll stop fighting against the current and you'll start flowing with it. You'll start to trust the process, even when it doesn't make sense. This peace is different from the peace the world offers. It's not based on circumstances or external success. It's a peace that comes from knowing that you're walking the path you were created to walk. It's the peace that comes from aligning your will with God's will. And when you find this peace, everything changes. You stop worrying about whether you're enough, whether you're doing the right things, whether you're on the right path. You start to trust that, no matter what happens, you're exactly where you need to be. So, I want to leave you with one final question. Are you ready to embrace your calling? Are you ready to trust that you've been chosen by God, even when the path is uncertain? This journey isn't for everyone. It's for those who are willing to walk by faith, not by sight. It's for those who are willing to trust in something greater than themselves. If you're still watching this, I believe that you are one of those people. I believe that you're ready to embrace your purpose, to walk the path that's been laid out for you, even if you don't understand it yet. And I want you to know that you're not alone. You're part of something much bigger than yourself, something divine, something eternal. So take a deep breath and let go of the doubt. Let go of the fear. Trust that you've been chosen and trust that God will guide you every step of the way. You won't believe these 5 signs prove you're chosen by God, but deep down, you've always known.